Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hello Word. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm thrilled to have you join me today as we delve into another fascinating word in the English language. Today's word is blame. It's a B2 level noun that means responsibility for a fault or wrong. So when something goes wrong and we're trying to figure out who or what caused it, we're often talking about blame. Let's break this down further. Blame, as a noun, refers to the act of assigning responsibility for something negative that has occurred. It's about identifying the source of a problem or a mistake. In everyday language, you might hear someone say, "The blame for the accident rests with the driver who is texting." This means the driver who is texting is responsible for the accident. It's important to remember that assigning blame can be a delicate matter, as it often involves pointing fingers and potentially causing conflict. Now, let's explore some synonyms for blame. A close synonym is responsibility. For example, instead of saying, "He took the blame for the error," you could say, "He accepted responsibility for the error." Another synonym is culpability. Culpability suggests a greater degree of wrongdoing. You might say, "Her culpability in the scheme was undeniable," to emphasize that she was clearly at fault. A third synonym is fault. "It wasn't my fault" is a common expression meaning I wasn't to blame. Another good synonym is accountability. He was held to accountability for the missing funds, meaning he was blamed and made to answer for them. One more, liability, suggests legal or financial blame. The company accepted liability for the damages. Now, let's switch gears and look at some antonyms, words that have the opposite meaning of blame. One key antonym is praise. While blame assigns responsibility for a negative outcome, praise recognizes and commends positive actions. For instance, instead of blame, the team received praise for their hard work. Another antonym is credit. Credit acknowledges someone's contribution or success. She received credit for the innovative idea, not blame for the initial setbacks. Exoneration is another useful antonym. It means to be cleared of blame. The DNA evidence led to his exoneration. We can use the verb form as well, to absolve. The investigation absolved him of all blame. One more, commendation. The officer received a commendation instead of blame for his actions. Now, let's explore how blame is used in everyday life. You might hear someone say, "Don't blame me for the traffic. I didn't cause it." This is a very common expression used to deflect responsibility. In a workplace setting, you might hear, "Let's focus on fixing the problem, not assigning blame." This encourages a solution-oriented approach rather than a punitive one. You might also hear someone say, "He always tries to shift the blame onto others," which describes someone who avoids taking responsibility for their mistakes. Here are some example sentences using blame. The investigation assigned blame to several departments for the data breach. She tried to avoid the blame by deleting the files. He shouldered the blame willingly, despite not being entirely responsible. The blame game never solves anything. Let's find solutions. The company accepted the blame and issued a public apology. Let's use blame in some common phrases. To lay the blame on someone means to accuse them of wrongdoing. To bear the blame means to accept responsibility for something. To shoulder the blame means to take responsibility, even if you don't deserve it. A blame culture describes a workplace where people are constantly trying to avoid responsibility and shift it onto others. So, to recap, blame is a B2 level noun that means responsibility for a fault or wrong. We discussed its definition, synonyms like responsibility, culpability, and fault, and antonyms like praise, credit, and exoneration. We also looked at how blame is used in everyday conversations and common expressions. That brings us to the end of today's Hello Word. I hope you found this exploration of the word blame helpful and informative. Remember, understanding these nuances can significantly improve your English language skills. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your support helps others find the show. Now, I encourage you to create your own sentence using the word blame and share it as a comment below. I look forward to reading your examples.